Hey everyone, this is Sooklal of Extra Time TV, and I'm alone today and I still have my Argentina jersey on because I just did the stream. You can check that out. I'll put a link in the description below when we're done. So, we're going to speak about the Copa America. It's no big secret that I'm a big Argentina fan. We also have the Euro finals between Italy and England. Is it coming home? We'll discuss. James will return for that one. So it's, as I said before, it's not a big secret that I'm a big Argentina fan. I'm trying to do a live stream here. Hopefully it comes out okay, folks. So first off, it has been a very interesting tournament for both teams. This should have been in a joint tournament between Colombia and Argentina. Obviously, that changed because of civil unrest in Colombia. It was supposed to be in Argentina. And then because of the COVID-19 pandemic, which is affecting everyone, eventually Argentina pulled out. And literally, what seems like a couple days before the tournament, Brazil took over, which raised a lot of eyebrows. A lot of people, had some issues with the last Copa America and how it was run. And then it's last minute and, it would favor Brazil. But, we're getting some football and we'll get to the officiating. But let's get into the game. So obviously, Argentina, in a very dramatic fashion, got to the final in a penalty shootout against Colombia with an amazing performance in the shootout by Emi Martinez. I mean, this guy has been amazing for Argentina. What a solid presence he has. This guy definitely, I think, is the guy between the sticks that Argentina has missed for some time now. Even though I like Sergio Romero, I was not the biggest fan of Armani, but he did okay. He didn't have a great season. And I think that was a missing piece. And, fortunately, at one point he wasn't going to be in the starting lineup. But he's in there. Dramatic penalties. We all know about his antics. Many sides spoke about it. And, of course, let's talk about Brazil. Heavily favored to win this tournament. Brazil, Tite and his men, they got through the group stage with relative ease. I mean, yes, they got a draw in there. But they have a very strong team. They brought the big guns. Casemiro and Marquinhos. Thiago Silva, and up front you have, of course, Neymar, who it seems like he hasn't played in Copa America for a long time, but he's back. He wants to win. He said he wanted Messi in the final, and they're friends. And two of them playing together, it's like FIFA or games. They're going to play, but they're always going to be friends. That he supported Messi in the past. And if you didn't know, of course, I have my blue, so you can check that out. So folks, you can let me know how the stream works. So basically, let's get into it. So Argentina and Brazil have, sort of contrasting styles. Some people were saying that Brazil had the quote-unquote easier group. I'll let you guys decide that. I think, yes, in some cases. Argentina had a difficult group with Paraguay, Uruguay, Bolivia. And, of course, they eventually both were the top of their groups, and the pathway was pretty easy. Let's speak about the pathways to the Copa America. Argentina first took on Ecuador, which was a very physical game as expected. Ecuador plays a lot of strong football down the wings, and it was a very close game. Argentina played young Molina, and that's when Cristiano Romero started to disappear. When I say disappear, he's injured. And they did have a difficult time, and eventually in the end, some Leo Messi brilliance separated the two. Then Argentina played Colombia, which I knew that was going to be a difficult game. And, many people on many forums spoke about it. And I have to admit, it was heart-wrenching as an Argentina fan to look at that game. It was ferocious. The officiating was absolutely poor. In fact, the officiating in this tournament has been really poor. It comes to a point where people are going to have to ask these questions because, these tournaments goes on, a team wins, and eventually, it just goes down in history as a team that won. Messi almost had his ankle torn off. There were some tackles in some of the previous games against Ecuador that was insane, against Lo Celso, and many more. It was ridiculous. And, it is what it is, but it can affect the outcome of games. Brazil, they played Chile, and they had a tougher time at it. They scored a goal and held on. They got Gabriel Jesus sent off for a stupid tackle. I was not sure what he was thinking at all. And then Peru and Brazil with Garecha and his men, who gave them also a good run for their money. I honestly thought at one point Peru was going to, after that red card, they were going to, get something in there. But it didn't work out. Well, I mean with the Chile game, I'm mixing them up, and then with Peru. So now we're here at the finals. So let's talk about both teams. Brazil has their squad completely available, and I'm gonna pull up some stats real quick. So while we're doing that, okay, the stats are not here yet, but let's talk about the Argentina lineup. Christian Romero is heavily rumored to not start, along with Martinez in goal, not Lautaro Martinez. He has been quite an essential addition. A lot of people have been calling for him to be in the back four for Argentina for a long time, and wow, what a debut he made, and it's quite a solid player. But unfortunately, it seems as if he will be injured. I mean, that may change when comes kickoff, which will be in a couple hours. And, Petzela takes his place. So, the back four for Argentina has... Some people are saying it's Tagliafico. Some people are saying Acuna. My guess, it may be Tagliafico, Otamendi, Petzela, and Montiel. But it could also be Molina at right back, which had a lot of problems against Colombia. The midfield is another area that a lot of people are trying to discuss how they're going to approach this Brazil game. Is it going to be Guido Rodriguez and Paredes, or are they going to be, they're going to have the trio of De Paul, Paredes, and Lo Celso. And up front, you'll have Lautaro Martinez, Leo Messi on the right, and, maybe some people are saying Gonzalez on the right. And Di Maria is perfect to come on as a sub. I have my views about that. And, Tite and his men. I mean, he has a squad available except for Gabriel Jesus. So, off the top of my head, I'm thinking, he has gone with the 4-2-3-1 formation, which, of course, is flexible. With Ederson in goal. And Marquinhos, Thiago Silva as the centre-backs. And one of the questions people are asking is... My camera froze there for a second, so we'll continue. Okay, here we go. So, I'm going to pull it back up because I saw there was some, some issues with the lineup. So, up front, obviously, it's going to be Neymar. There maybe it's going to be Firmino. That's a good question. I think the midfield is going to have Casemiro. It's going to have Fred. I think it's going to be the same. I'm not the biggest fan of Fred, but he seems to be getting the job done with Brazil. This Brazilian team has really got a strong defensive aspect about them. And they're not afraid to sit back and soak up pressure and not afraid to play ugly. And I think that's a trait that Argentina has as well. But, speaking about Brazil, outside the absence of Gabriel Jesus, they have Barbosa as well. So, they have a very strong team. To me... It seems as if everything falls in Brazil's favor. Even former Paraguayan legend Jose Chilevert pointed out that he had some issues with the officiating, and Messi and those guys are going to have to play not just against Brazil, but against VAR, the referee, and pretty much everybody else. And there is some reasons for that, but I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible. Although I have an Argentina shirt on and a scarf. I'm not going to hide that I'm an Argentina fan, but I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to look at this from both sides and try to be as fair as possible. One tactical area that I'm noticing that Brazil can possibly take advantage of is that the right back area for Argentina, combined with the absence of Romero, will be a problem. They had some problems. Mina caused a lot of problems for Argentina. And, of course, Brazil, you're going to have, Neymar and those guys attacking on the wings. And that's going to be quite difficult. Romero adds a lot of defensive solidity at the back. And this is going to be quite a challenge. So Argentina is going to have to be on top of their game. And those guys are going to have a top game because they are going to attack those guys. Every single team that played against Argentina went down and tried to attack on the right side, especially when the young Molina was playing. I saw Paraguay, what's pretty much everybody. Ecuador did it, Colombia did it, and they got some success. Petzela, who will probably replace Romero, is not everybody's favorite. He's solid, but he can be beaten for pace, and he hasn't had a great season with Fiorentina, and Scaloni seems to like him. I think he prefers Romero. Otamendi, who's a player that a lot of people were scared of, had a pretty solid tournament, pretty calm. He wasn't the hot-tempered guy that we expected him to be. And he adds that physical presence at the back. But I think everybody would prefer Otamendi and Romero at the back. So, I'm trying to pull this up here, and I don't know why. All my notes, so it makes me look really stupid now, but I'm going to pull it up. The squad and form guide. Let's talk about the form guide. So obviously Brazil, win, draw, win. Argentina, draw, win. So the forms are pretty okay. In terms of the lineups, I'm going to try to get Brazil's possible lineup because I know there's some issues at left back, which I'm not too sure about. But Danilo is a guy that may play. And also the fact that Brazil seemed to be strong defensively. I saw Chile try to break them down. I saw Peru try to break them down. So, they are not afraid to get goals. And Paqueta linking up with Neymar has been pretty impressive. It's not vintage Brazil that, a lot of the older people remember from back in the day, Ronaldinho, go backwards. It's a very workmanlike Brazil. Yes, they have flair. Neymar is that X factor that I think everybody's going to have to look at. And I think, Tite and his men are going to go for that 4-2-3-1. Very solid. And yes, Thiago Silva and Marquinhos are not, the fastest guys in the world. But they definitely are getting the job done. I'm seeing teams having a hard time breaking them down. So it's very hard for me to see much of a tactical weakness with Brazil, to be quite honest. While they haven't been perfect, and in several games, especially I think it was against Ecuador, I believe, they drew. And, they can be held back, but they also have enough to get goals and also defend. Argentina, you can say the same as well. However, with the absence of the players I mentioned before, it's going to be quite creaky. So, I'm not going to go into a full detailed, player-by-player analysis. But my thoughts are that the advantage goes to Brazil, primarily for the reason the right-back issue is a concern for Argentina. They're not as watertight as they would like to be on that side. That's definitely a defensive vulnerability for Argentina. And I think, to be quite honest, top to bottom, Brazil looked a more balanced team. They don't have any notable absentees besides Gabriel Jesus. And I think this very much favors Brazil. My stomach turns. I kind of puked a little bit in my mouth saying that. But I think it's the truth. It's the truth. Argentina is going to have a really top A game. A lot of things have to go correctly. And they have to take their chances. One of the problems I think Argentina also has as well is Sergio Aguero, Martinez, and Joaquin Correa were called up by Scaloni to be the strikers. And all three of them started off really slow. Eventually, Lautaro Martinez came into some form. Papu Gomez as well. A lot of people are trying to figure out if Papu Gomez is going to play. And, that's very much a very good question. So let me pull up a couple stats here as well before we go. So let me try to get the form guide on Copa Americas. So, this is much more of an informal discussion here. And you guys can interact if you want. So let's take a look at the probable lineups here, which I had on my notes, but it's gone now. So let's see. We spoke about Argentina. Let's talk about Brazil. So according to this here, which was pretty close to mine, Ederson in goal, Danilo, Marquinhos, Thiago Silva, Lodi, Casemiro, Fred, Lucas Paqueta, Everton, Richarlison, and Neymar. So I pretty much got it spot on, folks. So I think that's where they're going to go. I know there was some discussions about if it was going to be, Firmino playing instead of Richarlison. But it seems as if Tite has made up his mind with this team. And, of course, Neymar will be the key person in attack, like Messi, sorry. So it's all set, folks. Let us know what you think in the comment section below. Let me know what you think. You Brazilian fans out there, I know you guys have a lot to say. Argentinian fans out there, let me know what you have to say. Also, it's a good site to get some updates for Argentina. It's on mundoalbiceleste.com. I would have loved to have Stephen John. He's my favorite Argentinian all the way from Malaysia. A great guy with great articles. And unfortunately, I'm not going to keep this very long. I'm going to keep this very brief. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. My final verdict is it's going to be a tough game, but in the end, combined with the absentees of Cristiano Romero, the deficiencies at right back, and the inconsistencies with finishing with Argentina, I think Brazil, being at home, will have the advantage, unfortunately, for me as an Argentinian fan. So you can see I can be unbiased. My mind is telling me that Brazil is going to win, but the illogical, irrational fanboy inside me, which I will not allow to take over, would love for Argentina to win and end that drought. I've been suffering since 1994, to be honest. Well, in fact, I would say I would even suffer since I was a kid and looked at the World Cup where Argentina lost to Germany way back in 1990. I was like maybe 6 years old, I think, and I looked at that game in England. So, folks, let me know what you think. The Copa America is going to take place in a couple hours. Also, the Euro final between Italy and England. Is it coming home or is it going to Rome? We'll know. But my focus is on South America right now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think, because this game is going to be quite a game, folks. So like I said, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and all these sites, because I'm going to go now and try to get a good night's sleep. I have my Argentina gear, my blue here, and hopefully I won't be in tears tomorrow when I do my reaction to the game. So let me know who do you think is going to win this game. So folks, it's been wonderful. Thank you for joining me, and thank you.